It was a chilly evening when James, a single dad, trudged home after a long double shift at the factory. His daughter, Lily, was probably curled up in bed, dreaming peacefully while he carried the weight of bills, work, and the constant loneliness that came with raising a child on his own. As he passed the small, dimly lit diner on the corner, he noticed a girl sitting alone outside, her wheelchair slightly tilted on the cracked sidewalk. Her hands were trembling as she hugged her worn coat tighter around her frail frame. Something about her made James pause. Maybe it was the raw vulnerability in her eyes, or maybe it was the echo of his own daughter's innocence reflected in hers. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. He walked over, hesitant, unsure what to say. "Hey, are you okay?" The girl looked up, startled, and then smiled weakly. "I'm fine," she said softly, though her voice quivered. James could see the truth in her eyes. Without thinking, he stepped inside the diner and bought a warm bowl of soup and a sandwich. He returned to her side and offered it gently. "Here, eat. It's cold out here." Her name was Emma. She was only 12, born with a rare disability that made walking painful, and her mother, she said, was always busy. James didn't ask questions, he simply listened as she told him about her day, her small victories, and her struggles. As they shared the meal, a strange warmth filled the air, a connection neither of them expected. Days turned into weeks. James made it a routine to stop by the diner after work, always bringing something warm, always checking on Emma. It became a silent pact, a moment of comfort in both their turbulent lives. Yet, despite the joy he found in helping her, James felt a deep ache of inadequacy. How could he, struggling to keep his own life together, make a real difference in hers? Then one rainy afternoon, Emma's mother walked into the diner. She was striking, impeccably dressed, and exuded a commanding presence. James instinctively straightened up, unsure of how to introduce himself. The woman's eyes softened when she saw him helping Emma. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice calm but tinged with worry. "I didn't know," James shook his head. "She's been hungry. I just wanted to help." Her name was Victoria, and she was a CEO of a successful tech company, a woman whose world was all boardrooms and deadlines. But when she saw James caring for her daughter without a hint of judgment, something shifted inside her. She had always thought wealth and power were enough to solve every problem, yet here was a man who gave his heart without expecting anything in return. James felt an awkward gratitude, unsure how to respond to someone so far removed from his own world. But Victoria didn't leave it at that. She offered help, not charity, not pity, but a chance. She wanted to support Emma's needs, yes, but she also wanted to lift James up, to give him opportunities he never dreamed of. At first, James resisted. Pride was all he had left. But Victoria's insistence, combined with Emma's encouragement, finally broke through. Chapter 2 began with James stepping into a new life cautiously, unsure if he belonged. Victoria arranged tutoring for Emma, specialized medical care, and even helped James explore better job opportunities. Slowly, he began to see a horizon he had never dared to imagine. He learned skills he had never thought he could, met mentors who guided him, and watched Emma blossom into a confident, joyful girl. Yet, the journey wasn't easy. Old insecurities clung tightly, and James sometimes felt he was just a guest in a world he couldn't truly reach. But every time he saw Emma laugh freely or take a step without pain, he knew he had made the right choice. Victoria, too, found herself learning from James, learning humility, patience, and the true meaning of generosity. They didn't just change Emma's life, they changed each other's. Months later, standing together in the sunlit park, James held Emma's hand while Victoria looked on, tears brimming. "You've given her so much more than I could have imagined," she whispered. James shook his head, smiling softly. "She gave me just as much. More, even. She reminded me what it means to care, to hope." That day, James realized life was no longer a series of struggles to survive, it was a canvas of connection, love, and small acts of kindness that could ripple outward in unimaginable ways. From a cold sidewalk outside a diner to a life filled with possibility, one simple choice, to feed a hungry, disabled girl, had transformed everything, and in that transformation, James understood a profound truth: sometimes, the people we think we're helping the most are the ones who end up saving us.